Benue is the middle belt, and Benue is a trigger point in the middle belt. This is the front line for the battle for the soul of Nigeria between Biafra and Nigeria. Benue was the battle line. Benue was the front line, and then Benue has a lot of history, revolutionary history. We date back to the crisis and the battle between Usman Dan Fodio, way back, where the sons and daughters of Benue, with bare hands, chased back those elements that wanted to overtake their land and enslave them. So from that time, Benue has been at the forefront of battle. And then the Civil War came. It was here, and today Benue also in this time in Nigeria has become the birthplace for the new revolution in Nigeria. Just like Tunisia in the Arab Spring. So we began to, Benue gradually became sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yes.
Of bad leadership. There is a yearning, there is a longing, there is a cry in the heart of Benue people for good governance, for equitable distribution of commonwealth. So it makes a Sowore voice become an amplified voice in the ears of Benue sons and daughters. Therefore makes the things that you are saying and the things that you seek to represent resonate in our hearts. It is not only resonating, but the ideas that you have been forthcoming. It is because of that that Benue particularly is excited that you are here at a time like this. Very critical time in our history.
Yes.
Very critical time in our history, where we are fighting battles for our identity, for our land, that we will not become refugees in our own ancestral home, that our children can go about their schools. For a very long time, a lot of people have kept their children away from school because of the fear of the unwanted, of the unknown. Uncertainty is so palpable. And as a thought leader, as a spiritual leader, and as a social crusader, I stand in the shoes of many people. I feel the pain. The buck stops here. Everybody is pastor this, pastor that. My men are here. A lot of my men are working with you. A lot of my men are on your team.
Yes.
Because we have been troubleshooting everywhere. It's either blood IDP or economic IDP or flood IDP. All kinds of crises that we have found ourselves. I'm at the receiving end with other well-meaning people in society who share values for human life and soul. So, in the last couple of months, I have had the uncomfortable assignment of sending people forth out of Benue. A lot of people are relocating out of Nigeria.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
True.
Just yesterday, a family, we sent them forth out of the country from this congregation just on Sunday.
Wow.
Just Sunday, because people want to ensure that they are alive first. They are alive. This makes Omoyele a voice that is coming as a soothing relief to our souls, our pain at a time like this. So, you have come in the heat of our crisis. You have come at a good time, and it is a joy to have you here. Without saying so much, we want to say thank you for coming. Thank you for coming to identify with the Benue people. For us, this is just beyond someone having a presidential ambition to take Nigeria back and to take Nigeria to that place that we have always desired. We welcome you to Benue.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Pastor Uloko. Thank you. We're excited to be here. We're excited to be in your office. And so I'm even more excited that we are finding our likes across the country who are not only courageous and brave, but are willing to take the risk and make the sacrifices that will take this country to that place of peace, prosperity, and progress. I have no doubts that our path is crossing for the first time, but not for the last time, because we're about to witness a revolution in this country. Yes, and that revolution, I have no idea what form it will take, but I am not, of course, for any violence. But something is telling me that something got to give in this country, and whether it's in the Benue, in Plateau, or any of those places where people are living, whether in the valley or on the mountain, something will give. On our way here, we went to a refugee camp. I call it a refugee camp because people have become refugees in their own country. The description they give it is internally displaced people. If people are internally displaced, they don't stay in a refugee camp. They stay at a temporary shelter where they return home. These ones have no date of return, so they are refugees. And if you are in your country and you are displaced, and the United Nations have to be taking care of you, you are a refugee.
Very true.
Yes. If your case has to be treated by international bodies, international doctors, and in some cases even international feeding agencies are sending food, clothing to Nigerians inside of Nigeria. That's a refugee situation. But I promise, and I'll say it again here, that they're about to return home. But for those people to return to their ancestral homes and farmlands, some other people have to retire home too. So that's the only way. Because these are two things that are happening diametrically, for as long as those people remain in power, the internally displaced people cannot go back home because they are the ones who displaced them in the first place. Deliberately. Yes, they were deliberately displaced. This is organized attack on identity, as you mentioned. It's organized, it's not only that people are being displaced, their identities are being wiped out. Their names are being changed. Their villages are being renamed. So if it's not organized, it couldn't have been so easy to do.
Very true.
Yes. So that's a promise we've made. It's not a threat. It's a promise that must be fulfilled come February 2019. Or whichever day that they postpone the election to, because I don't rule it out that they will postpone the date of the election again. But whichever date, we are going to free our people. We met Jerry Rawlings in Ghana. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. About 2 weeks ago, right? Yeah. Yes. And he made some statements to us behind closed doors. He said, you know, I see a future for Nigeria because young people like yourself who have done so well, I'm quoting him, should have had the upper hand. We shouldn't be discussing whether you win or lose, but we have a problem in Nigeria. Your people are still in love with their oppressors. Yes, our hearts sank when he said that, you know. And he said another thing, which is very interesting. He said, you know, I'm a Ghanaian. I love Ghanaians, but I don't respect them. I don't really like Nigerians, but I respect them. You know, we couldn't just understand what he meant until he went further to say that Nigeria has in its possession 40% of Africa's political power. So not only are you guys going to be doing so well, we here in Ghana and the rest of Africa will be doing so fine. And that was the message we brought back home. And our platform, our campaign is the first to make those kind of international contacts. We are not saying that we need international bodies to determine for us who to vote for, please. But we need exchange of ideas and of history, rich history, you know, between our nation and some leaders who have seen our own leaders. And he said some other things that we can't even say in public about some of our leaders. You know, the bottom line is that Nigeria is in this condition today because it was designed by our leaders. And they are holding on to the destiny of Nigeria. They are sucking away and sucking off the oxygen of progress in the country. And until we break their hands loose, we are not going to see it. You will be surprised that as long as they don't have the old man in Abuja there next year, the killings here will stop almost immediately. I am not saying that he started it. We know that it has history. That's right. But there's an embodiment that this kind of callous activities take when there's some special kind of hydrogen that is fueling the vehicle of genocide. That's what we're saying. And the moment there's a change of baton, there will be a change of order. You know, yeah. As a friend of mine would say, which is last year, you know, there's order everywhere. There's order in hell, there's order in heaven. The only problem is that in hell, order is the last law. In heaven, order is the first law. Yes. So we will restore order as the first law in the places that has been made hell for our people. Particularly the people of Benue, Taraba, Nasarawa, and Plateau. And by extension, yes, Adama, by extension, the people of Nigeria. But those ones particularly need it. They are in need of help, and we promise that help is on the way. We continue to seek your assistance and your support, and continue to encourage you to be bold and courageous, because you are not alone. And we'll give whatever support we can to ensure that whatever is necessary is done to free this country, and we hope you do so to us or with us reciprocally.
I must deliberately appreciate you for finding time to come to connect with us, and particularly for being here today. House on the Rock, we believe in doing what is right. We believe in the values of excellence, distinction. We believe in finesse, dexterity, and that is why Pastor Paul has even encouraged one of his sons, your friend, Fela Duro,
Yes.
to run. I saw particular operation you people carried out at the airport the other day to help further add to the story of taking it back and inspiring a new Nigeria. I want to encourage you, sir. I want to encourage you. There is no doubt. Anybody who is familiar with the man Sowore will know that he has a system of self-motivation and some sort of weird kind of inspiration that he gets, because the man does not back down. The man takes no for an answer that it is better for you to be a small part of a big thing that is going somewhere to happen than to be the big part of a small thing that is going nowhere or that may be stranded in the end. We're taking it back.
Yes.
Take it back. 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 We can't take it back unless we, the constituent element, come to this basic understanding.
Good.
What a joy.
Thank you.
Today has been incredible.
It's amazing. Amazing.
And I'm telling you, by the time you meet hundreds and perhaps thousands of young Benue people today,
please ensure that you get your people to come, because we keep mobilizing to make sure
most definitely.
Yes,
most definitely.
You have already gingered my swagger right now.